Shalom, welcome to another crown jewel word analysis, where we take words and hold them through the lens of the Lashon HaKodesh, because each and every language is full and packed of information. Today I have lengthy words, I have many words, and we'll have a part 2 probably also. And it's about gratitude or taken for granted, culture, all these kind of things that are man-made versus the true one system. Okay, so we'll dive into the forms and the abuse of the evil inclination. A document by Yirah H'ari. I will summarize what it's about, and we will provide you with a link for the full document thereof. It's a very important and problematic issue to study. Okay, so we're not staying here today, we're going immediately to the drawing table because there's too much to unpack. So, Likkutei Yirah 9 by Yirah Hari, available on bookbaby.com and amazon.com. Might you not be able to afford a physical copy, we can provide you with a free PDF thereof. This holds all the prerequisites. The Lashon HaKodesh explained is the only savior that teaches Lashon HaKodesh, as the knowledge thereof was not available until a couple of years ago. We're going to look at the evil inclination and good inclination, 70 nations versus Israel. What is it exactly? And today we'll focus on gratitude and taking for granted, okay? And the abuse of the evil inclination of the Sitra Achra, the abuse of the Sitra Achra. So let's start. Here are the forms depicted, right? So Chesed, spirit form, Gevura, desire form, Tiferes, holy form, Netzach, soul form, Hoid, emotion form, Yisod, mental form, and Malchut, spirit, physical form. In gate 6, it explains about the collective thereof, but I want to, due to the amount, I just wrote these up for you, read these out for you, and there's two sides, as you can see, Yetzirah Tov, Yetzirah Ra. It's not in this depiction, here you see it, Yetzirah Tov, Yetzirah Ra. I want to jump to gate 7, 70 nations. First, let's do this part. Gather ye yourself, O Israel. Tiferes, the holy form, which is called Israel. Gather ye yourself, O Israel. What does this mean? The forms gathered into that form called Israel. Then one possesses the high priest breastplate. Be aware of this. The Lord has gone before me and scattered my enemies. What does this mean? As it is written, they will come against you in one way and flee in 7. Okay, so the nations will flee from you as you align your Tiferes with the higher, instead of having the Yetzirah Tov and the Yetzirah Ra, which is that lower system of judgment, good and bad, tree of knowledge of good and evil, that lower system, right? Whether that's your culture, your astrology, that's all lower system. If you have that decide for you, if you make your choices upon these, then you're amongst the nations, okay? Israel, Tiferes, aligns with the higher, Yashar, okay? Yashar El. So we'll read now about 70 nations. With what has been revealed in the previous gates, we can understand the matter of who the 70 nations are. The 70 nations refer to the 7 forms and their 10 sefirot, and the nations are all who operate their lives through these forms as a governing factor. So Chesed was the spirit body, reality becomes defined by one's spiritual attainment, and it was stated in gate 5, we have a spirit, we are not our spirit, we are choice that acts upon the spirit. Gevura, desire body. Reality becomes defined by our desires and motives, thus a person's worth is determined by an agenda of one's desire. We have desires, we are not our desires, we are choice that acts upon desire. Tiferes, holy form. Reality becomes defined by one's higher self, and the value and quality of the environment and things around you become determined by one's perceived attainment. We have a higher self, but we are not our higher self. We are the choice that acts upon the higher self. Netzach, soul form. Reality becomes defined by one's soul form, and the conditions of reality are determined by the overall conditions of the soul within the body. In example, overall states of joy or sorrow, health or decay. We have a soul, we are not our soul. We are the choice that acts upon the soul. Hoit, emotion form. Reality becomes defined by one's emotions. Both quality and form become filtered through the lens of the emotion form, and reality becomes distorted in accordance with the conditional state of the emotional form. We have emotions, we are not our emotions. We are the choice that acts upon the emotion. Yisod, mental form. Reality becomes defined by one's thought. Both quality and form become filtered through the thoughts of the mind, and reality becomes distorted according to the perception of the mental form. We have a mind, we are not the mind. We are the choice that acts upon the mind. Okay. Malchut, physical form. Reality becomes defined by the physical comforts and conditions of the body by which projects and distorts this perception into and onto reality, by which form and experience become altered. We have a body, we are not the body, we are the choice that acts upon the body. Now comes. Thus we see the nations are those who operate the lens of reality through the perception of these forms. Of this we see perceptions of good and evil amongst these forms. As you will see later in the gates, the true mysteries are not in need of these lower perceptions and are completely divorced and independent of them, separated, okay? You can separate yourself of it. So this is what it's about today. And it can be many shapes and forms that we let literally these forms determine our choice, and that's what it means to be in one's forms, and that makes you part of the nations. Okay, so we'll just write out the words for today, and then I will start reading. Otherwise it's a whole lot of reading all at once. So gratitude would be a gimel for the G, a resh for the R, an aleph for the A taf for the hard T, a yud for the I, another taf for the hard T, a vav for the U, a dalet for the D, and a Y for the E. So gratitude. Okay. Gratitude, and on the other page we'll put for granted. Okay, for Gimel, G, R, A, Nun for the N, and then a eight. Granted. Now you notice they both have 8 Dalet Ayin, which is the witness or the Malchut or the world, right? Yes, that's what it means. At the end, both of them, though also, because it's 4 granted, have Gimel Reish in the beginning, which is Ger, a sojourner, right? But don't forget, Avram was a sojourner, okay? So we will dive into the specifics, the details here in a bit. I want to read my summary of Yirah's incredible work. It's lengthy, and I will provide a link for you. You should read it and take your time, and do not, by the very first thing that doesn't align with your idea of how you operate, think that it's not about you, because really it's critical. The document says that, of course we know, every human being is a spark of the endless, clothing garments. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, we just went through these forms, right? These are garments, these are attributes, but instead of seeing through the garments, we have become enslaved to them, right? That's what the serpent does. We identify with the persona, the voice, the story, and we call that me, or God even. And that's the whole root of the problem, and that's what the document addresses to. So from the desire to receive, the persona is formed, a collection of experiences, wounds, reactions, and from this a serpent begins to speak within us. It's the Zoyama, the dross. Not truth, but conditioning. Not essence, but distortion. And slowly we surrender our choice to it. Then something tragic happens, where we begin to treat others the same way we treat ourselves, through distortion. And then we no longer see people as divine sparks, we see them as function, as roles, as tools, providing services, right? So if someone is different, or we try to reshape them to fit our narrative through manipulation. And when gratitude is absent, relationships become disposable. We say, oh, we're just different, your character doesn't align with mine, I'm not happy with this situation, and just like that we cut people off. It's the same with food. Not having gratitude, shove it down your mouth and just swallow it because you think you have a right to enjoy the food without any gratitude for that matter. So it's a system of control rooted in the lower structure, the 6, the 7, the 70 nations, the multiplicity, the fragmentation, culture, cult, all built on forms that bind the consciousness below the head, right, below the truth. I'll give you a summary of the words for the next video. I've got culture, foreign, character, language, all matters that are based upon these forms, upon these 70 nations, because all these man-made systems, they are lower, right? They are there, but you do not need to go by these systems. So, and relationships therefore become transactions, right? So people are valued only when they serve our identity. Praise is given when it benefits us. And silence is used as punishment, words become weapons, and even kindness becomes manipulation. This is the abuse of the evil inclination. It doesn't always shout, it often whispers, right? It even smiles, it gaslights, it diminishes, it controls, it takes and gives nothing in return. And the most dangerous part, it convinces us that this is normal, that this is just how people are. I gave the document Yirah wrote to somebody to read it, and this person said, yes, but we cannot, this is inevitable, you cannot without. And that's the lie, that's the great lie, and that's the serpent voice, right? Because beneath all of this, beneath every mask, every reaction, every identity, there's something untouched, which is that spark. And that spark is not abusive, it's not manipulative, it's not ungrateful, it's aware, it's awareness, it's a part of the only awareness. So it doesn't stop with how we treat people. Look at how we treat what sustains us, right? Everything around us is part of a cycle of death. We should be aware of it. Because Malchut can be rearranged to Kol Mot, which means all dead, right? Plants are cut down, animals are taken, life is consumed so that we can continue, right? In the, what we call life is just one of the states of consciousness, right? In this gufa, this physicality. And it requires death of other things to keep our physicality until that point that our physicality dies also. And we take it, we shove it down without a thought, no gratitude, no awareness, no recognition. That's the nations. These are the goyim, right? Has nothing to do with where you're born. Just acting as if everything is owed to you, as if you have a right to just seize anything you want because of your desires. And then we look at the world and we see imbalance, war, suffering, lack, and we ask, why does this exist? We create that, right? We create that. So, yes, and but okay, we're worried, this sojourner. So we have gratitude. Let's start with the positive here. The gratitude, which is Yisrael, right? Tiferes connected to the higher. It has a couple of clear things in it. The ger, the sojourner, the aleph tav, right? The 22 letters. We can find Yud, Dalet, Ayin, Yoda, to know, right? To know the aleph tav. The ger who gets to know the aleph tav receives a sign on the forehead, which is the tav vav, by the hand of God, like Abraham, right? Like Abraham. And really, there's many more permutations here, because you can also see like Gimel Reish Yud Tav, Yud Tav Gimel Reish is 613, which is Biyirat, in awe, which is the first and foremost precept that includes awe of the law. It means if you are in awe, you fulfill the law. If you're not in awe, you fulfill none of it. And because the Gimel is 3, right? And so that is an aleph and a base. And it values and it means progress. So it's the progress. And aleph is Israel, Tiferes, progressing, right? Biyirat, in awe. And that would leave you then with the other letters, aleph tav and va'et, because 8 is dalet ayin. You can switch that around, va'et, and then the vav is zerampin, and 8 is the malchut, the nukvat. Malchut, the world, reality. So instead of projecting your forms and your filth and your dross upon reality, you now get knowledge of the aleph tav. You align with the spirit, with the yud. Therefore, you yoda, know. And zerampin doesn't project its filth, but it projects aleph tav, ma, reality upon the witness, 8, malchut. Okay? So this is a healthy situation. That's how you'd want to see it. Biyirat, tav vav, receive the sign on the forehead, like Abraham, right? Who was the ger? He's in the secret of the ger. Because gratitude is not a feeling, it's a transition of state. It's when the ger, the one who feels separate outside, lacking, begins to know Yoda, right? Not intellectually, but intimately, because Hashem says to Ve'yadas et Hashem, to have knowledge of Him. He comes to know the Aleph Tav. He comes to know Hashem, right? The whole structure. And through that recognition, something is sealed, which is the Tav Vav, the imprint, the sign upon the being. So this is the secret of the ger. Avraham moving from one system, the lower system, right? From his father, astrology and nonsense. So it's just not nonsense because it's factual, but it's not for the Jew, right? It's for the goyim. It's for the one who wants to say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I cannot. I'm bound to this system. And that's giving in to the serpent. It's not you, right? I'm this, I'm that, you are this, you are that. Limiting yourself, right? But gratitude is the crossing. And this is why trying to be a better person, it doesn't work. That's still the voice within the same system, the voice of the serpent, right? You do not refine the old system, you exit it. You align usher with the tree of life, right? Not Yirah Hari. So gratitude is the shift. The moment the outsider becomes integrated, when separation becomes connection, and knowing becomes being, right? So that's what I find in there. And yeah, it's pretty astonishing. And really, to now look at the other side of the medal, we would have then par, which is 280, which is Sandalphon. It's also par, it literally means bulls, and bulls hang on an ox on the left side. It's judgment, it's din, because the whole system of Toiv and Ra leans to the left. It's din. It's din, 280, Sandalphon. 280 is also all the Sofit letters. So Kaf Sofit, Mem Sofit, Nun Sofit, Fe Sofit, plus Tzadi Sofit. That's also what it is. And these came from the Chet, right? And they all reach down to physicality, to the garment and the physicality and the separation, 5 books of Moshe, 5 senses, all the things that try to seduce us from Ma, away from reality into our own man-made nonsense made of the forms, I should say. So, but the sum total value here is not 280, which is, this was 280, but it's plus the Vav, which is a Reinpin, is 286. And 286 is the value of Kan, we say Ha-Kan Samayon. And He is within the nest, Kan, of Samayon. Within the nest of Samayon. That's exactly what it is. So, for granted. And granted, then again, this Ger, the sojourner, but he doesn't align with reality. So we already see the serpent here. And variable soul forms, there's variable serpents, I'd rather say. So variable serpents, which is the 7-headed serpent, or 6 if you will, acting upon the 7th. Soul, and the soul is nefesh, and that is connected to the malchut. So the variable serpent's soul upon the nefesh, nefesh upon reality, malchut. You get where I'm going. So it's the projection of the serpent, which is the forms, right? Clearly. Now, this was Zerampin. I think we handled it all. And the soul, yeah, well, the soul, you can say Nefesh Bahamis, or the animal soul, which is for an animal not a problem, because he doesn't have a higher self that should be aligned, right? It just does what it's programmed to do. But we are the choice. We have that choice that can act upon, right? So, yes, may we work really by studying. And what is the study, right? Like Torah cannot be separated from Kabbalah, and Kabbalah cannot be separated from Torah. So you should unite written and oral Torah, and that's called the Torah of your mother. Do not forsake your mother's Torah. So 7 days under the mother, which are these forms, and a fire offering on the 8th day, which is Bina to Hashem. Chesed Gevura, Tiferes Netzachoi, Jesod, and Malchut. These are the 7 days under the mother, Bina, and here's Das. You saw it, Yoda, to have knowledge. Knowledge. And that's the bridge there between the mother, right? So fire offering to Hashem on the 8th day, because it's always through Ima you can proceed to Torah Vatzil, which is now at play. But this is where the Brit is on the altar. The Brit, straight, Yashar, Yisod, into the Malchut, right? Projecting upon the Malchut reality, Ma, instead of projecting these forms, right? So next video we'll go into these other words that I shared with you. I hope this was helpful. Many blessings, and till the next video.